you wonderful educators. It's great to have you back here over at Teachnology. We, this week, have a great bunch of resources for you on the parts of speech. You will find printable resources of all kinds. You'll find worksheets, lesson plans, you'll find some rubrics. You'll also find some web quests, so take a look at that. I think you're really going to enjoy it. If you're a member this week, we are featuring some great stuff. We have our Parts of Speech workbook sets. We also are featuring all of our grammar workbooks along with it. You're going to find some really neat stuff, members, so check that out. Also this week we're featuring for members our Rainforest word find, which is also, some people refer to it as a word search. That was made by our word search maker. Now we have two of those. We have one where you can use it with just the words so students can find the words. You can also make it a little bit more engaging and use the clue finder, which means that instead of students being given words, they're given sentences or clues to find the words in the puzzle. So take a look at that. It's a great tool. Love to use it myself. If you're not a member, you definitely should consider becoming one. It makes your job a lot more easier, speeds up your day. Your students have a ton of great stuff to work with in the classroom. Check it out. This week we wanted to share with you some great activities that you can do in your classroom for parts of speech that reinforce it or basically take it to the next level with students. The first one is a fun one, and that's the verb tense shuffle. You basically have students create 3 of their own dances as a class. You say, okay, for past we're going to do this. For present we're going to do this. Okay, and then for future we're going to do this. Okay, and then you give out some verbs, and students do their shuffle. You know, so you go past, 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 future, 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 something like that. And it's a fun little activity that students can do. The second activity is doing Pictionary with verbs and adjectives. You can have students work in teams, create a little game from it, but it really enforces the concepts of verbs and adjectives, and it really gets students involved. The third tip is to play adjective bingo using how many, what kind, and which. Again, you can create bingo cards on our site, so take a look at that. It's a good idea. You can do this with lots of different parts of speech, but we just chose adjectives to give you a point of reference. The fourth tip we have for you is using lightning cards. An example would be adjectives or adverbs. You have students have maybe a flashcard, or if you're lucky enough to have a whiteboard, you have adjective on one and adverb on another. And what you would do is basically, it's like a speed challenge. It's a great way to reinforce the two concepts. Again, you could use that with lots of different parts of speech. Tip number 5 is always my favorite as a kid. I don't know about you, but Mad Libs, boy, did that reinforce parts of speech for me. I actually learned what an adjective was because I would go around the class asking, hey, what goes here? Mad Libs are a great idea. You can actually have students create their own Mad Lib sheets and give them to others. That's a cool activity as well. Tip number 6 is to create a parts of speech scavenger hunt. Now you can do something simple like on a piece of paper they have to scout out all the different parts of speech within a passage. That's one way to do it. We have seen it get a little extreme. We have seen teachers use the entire school and let their students go free, let their imaginations run wild, and come back with parts of speech. That can be pretty interesting. Tip number 7 is to use a grammar wheel. If you remember, you can print this out right now. If not, you could probably make this up yourself. What a grammar wheel is a simple sheet, like a spinner. You buy a little spinner, pop it in the middle, give it a little spin like you do in all your games. And on here you'll find 4 different things that relate to the parts of speech. Now, particularly on this paper, we have contractions, quotation marks, prepositional phrases, and commas. What students will do is spin this, and there are 4 different sheets, so they'll spin all 4. And what you'll then do is write what these 4 parts of speech, or 4 things related to the parts of speech, are on the board. And then students have to write a sentence that contains all of these components, all these 4 components. Now, if they get 1 right, for every one they get right, if they use properly, they get a point. If they get all 4 right, they get 5 points. The first student to get to 50 wins. It's a fun activity, really gets them competitive, and it's a lot of fun. Hey, thanks for joining us again on Teachnology. We hope you have a wonderful week. We hope you're staying warm or staying cool, depending on where you are in the world. But have a great week. We'll see you again next week.